Today we're going to be taking a look at some of the most overpriced junk LEGO has ever given us, that being 75401 Ahsoka's Jedi Interceptor. This set just released on January 1st with 290 pieces and a retail price of $45 US, which is just ridiculous. Now, I wasn't being entirely serious by calling it junk because the model itself is actually kind of decent, which you'll see later on in the video, but the price is just horrendous. For context, the last Jedi Interceptor LEGO made was in 2020, and that had a retail price of $30 US, which adjusted for inflation is about $37 in 2025, so theoretically this set should be about $35 to $40, but no, it's $45, which is just such an awful reach on LEGO's part. It's absolutely unacceptable. And even worse, Jedi Bob's Interceptor that just released about 4 months ago in August has a retail price of $40. So in the span of 4 months, LEGO has bumped their Starfighter price up from $40 to $45. So with that being said, before we even take a look at the actual build, I'm taking off 2.5 points. It's automatically starting at a 7.5 out of 10. But price aside, I think the box art looks decent, especially on the back where there's this pretty cool action scene that looks like Dathomir. I'm not really sure, but it looks cool. Opening up the box and digging in, on the inside you're going to find 3 numbered bags, as well as your instruction manual and a sticker sheet with 11 stickers on it. But now moving on to the minifigures, first up here we have R7A7. This is the second time that LEGO has ever made this figure, and it's clearly an upgrade from the original one we got back in 2009. It's fairly simple, but it gets the job done, and I like this droid's colorway. For some reason, the dark red with the green just looks interesting to me, although it would have been kind of nice if it had some sort of back printing. I mean, this set is $45 after all. Next up here we have Anakin Skywalker based off his look in Clone Wars Season 5, and LEGO actually did a great job with this figure. I love the black and brown robes on him on the front and the back, and they also did a surprisingly good job with his face print, as you can see here, especially on his second face, which is a bit more angry and aggressive looking. And then lastly here we have Ahsoka, and just like Anakin, this is a great looking figure. The printing detail on the front and the back is about as high quality as you'd expect for a modern day figure, and they actually use those new movable short legs on her. From what I know, this is the first time they've used these legs on an Ahsoka minifigure, and it looks really good. And then along with that, of course, she's going to have a double-sided face along with her double lightsabers. The set might be overpriced, but I have to say, I actually like this minifigure lineup. For $45, it would have been nice to maybe get a fourth one, but the ones we do have are great. Anyways though, now moving on to the actual model itself, I have to say, in person, it definitely looks a lot better than it does in the product images. But it's not perfect though, and the main issue for me with it is the cockpit. Well, first off, I have to say the cockpit is printed, and the print itself does look really good, but as you can see here, they tried to make the cockpit shape more accurate, where it's bigger in the back and then slopes down and is smaller in the front, but to me at least, it just turned out to look kind of weird. It's kind of tacky looking and takes away the smooth look that these Jedi Interceptor cockpits are supposed to have, especially in the front here where there's an extra plate in between the windshield piece and the actual cockpit, making it sort of stick out too far. For comparison, here is the 2014 Anakin Jedi Interceptor that I had to dig through my bin to find. And as you can see, they're both relatively the same size and they actually look really nice together, but the older style cockpit on Anakin's is a lot smoother, and the cockpit piece itself presses up right against the windshield piece on the front, giving it a much smoother look and doesn't leave this lip on it like on Ahsoka's. But shaping aside, perhaps the most annoying thing about this cockpit is that there's actually nothing holding it down in place. The Technic pieces they use to actually open and close the cockpit is a good design. There's just nothing holding it in place in the front, whereas on Anakin's there is this one stud on the front that does hold it down in place. And this isn't really a big deal for the reasons you might think. Like when you hold it upside down, it does take some aggressive shaking to actually get it to start coming open. But what I found most annoying about it was just that you always have to pick it up from the back. If you try to pick it up by the cockpit piece, it just opens and kind of falls out of your hand, and I personally just found this kind of annoying. But moving away from the outside of the cockpit, on the inside you're going to find a very simple interior with a tiny stickered control panel where you can obviously grab Ahsoka and sit her in the cockpit seat and then fold the cockpit back down. And then on the very bottom, you're actually going to find 2 clips to hold both of her lightsabers, which is really nice. And also another thing I have to say about the bottom of the model is that I appreciate how LEGO kind of went out of their way to just smooth it off down here and make it look kind of nice. It's not just straight anti-studs, there's actually some decent detail down here. The engine thrusters on the back of the model look decent. I couldn't find any pictures online of the back of Ahsoka's Jedi Interceptor, but I guess this is how they look, although I do have to say they are pretty small and look a bit awkward. I definitely like the look of the bigger ones on Anakin's from 2014 a lot better. Now the cockpit area might be a bit rough, but the part of this set that definitely shines are the wings. The dark red and white looks very good to me at least, and LEGO did a great job at making all the patterns on it. There's also quite a bit of sticker detailing, the main ones being on the wing foils. They're red with these big white swooshes on them that I guess are supposed to represent Targruta horns. Either way though, they look awesome. They definitely give the wings such a sleek look. And then on the inside of the foils, you're gonna have those gray sort of carbon looking stickers that are on all the LEGO Jedi Interceptors. And then there's actually 2 more stickers right next to the cockpit on these pieces that I'm pretty sure are actually new. I might be wrong on that, but I've never seen them before in a LEGO Star Wars set, and with these stickers on them, they definitely give it a sleek look. On the front and the middle, you're gonna find the 2 main blasters that are very simple, but they get the job done and they look good. I like them in this gray color. And then on the middle of the wings on the sides, you're gonna have these 2 smaller laser cannons that look really awesome. They're super subtle, but they give it a cool look, and I didn't even know these were on Ahsoka's Jedi Interceptor, but if you look at the actual ship, they're there. But again, the wings on this set do look really good, and they do actually blend with the cockpit pretty well. It's just the shaping of the cockpit is really off. And then as you'd expect, you can take R7A7 and sit him in his little droid slot on the side of the ship right here, which will complete the look of your interceptor. And then the last and final play feature is that on the bottom here, of course, there are 2 spring-loaded shooters that you can fire as you please or not fire at all. Overall, for the most part, I actually like the build in this set. The colors are great, the red and white is super vibrant and will definitely sort of brighten up your collection. And like I said over and over again, the brick build patterns and the shaping and the details on the wings look great. Really just the only problem with this build is the cockpit. And if I was to give this set a rating out of 10 on just the build and the minifigures, I would give it a solid 8.5. LEGO did a pretty decent job on it. But like I said at the beginning of the video, the price is just absolutely awful, so unfortunately I'm giving this set a 6 out of 10. Now if you were to ask me if I'd recommend this set to you guys, I have to say if you're someone that does not own any of the Jedi Interceptors, I would get this set when it goes on sale, because there's really no telling when LEGO's gonna make another one. They don't make these very often, and they're just really awesome ships to have in your collection. So if you don't own a Jedi Interceptor, get this when it goes on sale. But if you're someone that does own one or multiple of them, I would just pass on it unless you really want it for some reason. Anyways though, let me know what you guys think about this set down in the comments below. If you're new, please consider subscribing, and if you want to check out more of my videos, you can see it on the screen right now.